it is so crazy to me because since I was born, right, I wanted like okay, but like a very common quote, like I feel like everybody knows, like the three certainties of life is like, shit, I don't even remember it. Death, something, and taxes. Or maybe it's a two certainties. I don't even know. You see, I lied, but you know, it's like a typical joke that like there's two certainties in life. You're gonna die one day, and you're gonna have to pay taxes, right? And I've always knew how important taxes were, and you know, me being in the finance industry, I like obviously had recollection of it. And but recently, I had worked at a tax firm, and I finally learned how to do taxes. You know, I was doing everybody's taxes, and I learned a lot just doing it because typically, right before you do anything about taxes seem like the biggest, scariest thing. You're dealing with the government and the IRS and the state, and you're like, oh my god, if I mess up, I get audited and I go to jail, and I don't want to mess anything up. But it's like once you do it, it's literally one of those things where it's like it sounds so big and scary, and then once you deal with it, you're like, what the fuck? That was the easiest shit I've ever done. And I don't know if it's like maybe because I'm a little bit financially literate or it was just relatively simple for me. But I did like hundreds and five, like up, like I think I did like 500 people's taxes, and it was so easy. And at first it was like hard because I had to learn the software and stuff and like how to read it. But once you learn that, you don't even need to learn the software. Just learn how to read your taxes, and you'll be like, oh, what the fuck? Why do people complicate this for years? Like there's people who will be like, I did people's taxes who were like 60, 70 years old, and they sent the wrong tax forms. It's like this has like if it's a tax form, you'll know because it has certain codes and numbers, and it says government-based, tax-based. It'll say certain things, and there's people who are 70 years old who didn't send in the right forms, which only told me that they didn't even look at these forms. It's been 70 years of your life, and you never thought, yeah, maybe just learn how to do these taxes real quick. Like maybe just at least learn what forms to send in. It's like ridiculous to me, but it's like people are so lackadaisical. It's insane to me, but I was like, let me learn how to do this because it's important, and so I did. The job I got, luckily, and it just happened to give me a really wonderful skill. And then, you know, I started doing my sister's taxes, my family's taxes, and the returns were way better because our old tax site was horrible. And so this year, I didn't work for the guy because he's a mess. But I was like, you know what, I should learn how to do, I kind of know how to do taxes on my own, but I'm still a little bit iffy because typically it's easy if you just have a job, but I had a job and a contract job, and the contract job, it's like a business of yours, technically, because it's contract, so they're not paying you as an employee, you're your own employee. You're your own employee and employer, and typically if you do that, you have to pay 15% in taxes based on how much you made, and I don't want to pay 15%, typically it's 7%, right? And so I was like, okay, if I go back to this guy, I don't want to do that, and I would have to go find another guy and pay like $150, $200 for the CPA cost or whatever. And I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that shit. I know how to do my own taxes. If I could just figure it out, and I know everybody does it online now, I was like, let me just look through it, let me see if I can finesse my way through it. And so that I did it, and then on the first website I did on TurboTax, and that shit was ass because they charged me more than the CPA would charge me. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing that. And then I found another website. It's like you can find it easily, but it was so cheap to do it. It was $15, so I was gassed. I was so happy that I found that website. I'm gonna use that website every year. I felt like it was better than Intuit. It was more inputting, but I know how to do that shit. That's all I did, right? I think it's called Free Tax America. If you just look that up on Google, you'll find it's like USA Tax America, something like that, right? But it allows you to do the whole tax for $15, which is how much it should cost. It shouldn't be expensive. The only reason you're paying an accountant $150, $200 is because you're paying for their expertise and knowledge. When you don't know on their end, it's so simple, especially if you only have a job. The only time you really need a CPA is if you have like dependents and properties and multiple investments that you sold. If you didn't sell them, they don't even need to be like filed or whatever. And if you ever get audited, chances are super rare if you get audited. Unless you make more than like 500,000, your chances of getting audited are very slim. But I'm so happy I found this website and I know how to do my taxes, because I thought I was gonna go to a CPA and do it, but I was like, I only was gonna go because of the expenses I need to input, but I did other people's expenses. So I was like, I know what these expenses typically are and what they range from, so I can do this myself. And so I did it, and then it got accepted immediately, and I got a good return. So I was like, you know what? I'm so happy I did this, because it was simply just a skill that you have to learn. Like, I remember reading about it, and somebody was like, doing your taxes, learning how to do it is like learning how to change your oil filter or your oil in your car, right? And I don't know how to change the oil in my car, and I wish I did, because it's such an important and such an easy skill. Like, I know people say that it costs like $5 to do it on your own, but then you pay somebody like $40-50 to do it. And that's typically how every like service works. They upcharge you like crazy because you're paying for their experience and their knowledge on it because you're too scared to do it on your own. But you can just go on YouTube and learn how to do it. Same thing with taxes. I think there's definitely videos on YouTube how to do your taxes. And so like it's such a simple skill, but it's a life skill because you're gonna be doing this every single year for the rest of your life. So you might as well do it instead of paying. Like I just paid $15 for this, and I've never paid for taxes before this because my dad used to pay for it. But if you pay $150 for your CPA for him to input some info for you, like that's literally nuts because I won't pay $150 even for the next 10 years. Technically I'll pay $150, but you'll be paying $1,500 over the next 10 years if you keep paying the same CPA or whatever for bullshit. And like I know so many people who hate their accountants. It's like they're dickheads, and I know they're dickheads. So learn out how to do it on your own, especially if it's simple. Only pay for a CPA if it's like you got serious shit going on, and if you got serious shit going on, probably make a little bit more money anyway. So it's like probably easier for you to just send them everything and just have them do it. But again, if you track your expenses and track your finances and you know how money works and the government works and how taxes work, it's all very important for you to know all of this. That's one. But more importantly, it's like just learn how to do your taxes. It's so simple, and it's a life skill that you should have. And you can like now I'm gonna do my sister's taxes on my own. I'm gonna do I'm not doing my parents. I'm gonna do it with the CPA, but I'm gonna guide it. Right? I'm gonna say all because you could go to a CPA and you think they know stuff because they have their CPA, but they don't know shit. Like I've had multiple occasions where I've talked to dumb CPAs, and I'm just telling you right now, it's not worth it. Like you're gonna be paying them a crazy sum, and you're not gonna be getting a good refund. It's just gonna piss you off in the end because they're playing with your money, and that's what the old CPA did, and that's why. But learn how to do your taxes. It's so simple. Take the time. Get some practice. Do it somehow, one way or another. Just learn, try it, and you get a life skill. Like you know how important it is to get a life skill, something you'll do for the rest of your life, guaranteed. That's important with your money. Learn it once, you can do it forever.